Hey everyone, it's Brianna and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make 3 skirts from one basic skirt pattern. The first skirt I'm going to be showing you guys how to make is going to be a simple skirt with no alteration to the pattern. The second one is going to be a slit skirt similar to the one on Brandy Melville. And the third one is going to be a variation of the first one, but with ruffles at the bottom. As with any clothing items that you're going to make, the first step is to take some measurements and draft a pattern. The first measurement I'm going to take is my waist measurement, which was 27 inches. And next is the hip measurement along the widest part of my hips. Mine was 35. Third, I'm going to measure my waist to hip measurement. And lastly is the measurement from my waist to where I want this skirt to end. To start the front pattern piece, draw a straight line about an inch from the edge of the paper and mark your waist measurement divided by 4. This is going to be the waistline. Next, I marked down 8 inches, which was my waist to hip measurement, and made another line. On this line, mark your hip measurement divided by 4. The last line is the total skirt length, and on that line, you're also going to mark the hip measurement divided by 4. Then, all you have to do is connect all of your lines. I used a curved ruler, but if you don't have one, you can always eyeball it. This is me realizing that I accidentally cut the skirt front at 12 inches instead of 14 inches. So I had to fix it with some tape. Now it's 14 inches. For the back pattern piece, you're going to draw all 3 of your horizontal lines just like the front. On your waistline, you're going to mark your waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches. And on the other 2 lines, you're going to mark your hip measurement divided by 4. To create the dart, mark 4 inches from the edge of the pattern and draw a 4-inch horizontal line. Then you're going to mark 3/4 of an inch on either side of the line, connect them to the end, and you're done with the skirt pattern. For the skirt's waistband pattern, make a rectangle that's 3 inches wide and half of your waist measurement plus 2 inches long. These are my pattern pieces all cut out, and this is the fabric that I'm going to use for my first skirt. It's a really nice teal and brown embroidered fabric and I love it so much. To start off, you're going to fold the fabric in half and place the pattern along the fold. Because the bottom of my fabric is already hemmed, I'm only adding 1/2 inch seam allowance along the sides of the pattern and cutting my fabric out. I'm repeating the same thing for the back of my fabric piece, and then I'm transferring the darts on both sides of the fabric. The next step after cutting all of my fabric out is to sew the darts right sides together on the back piece. Then I'm going to pin the front to the back, right sides together, and sew along one side. After sewing one side together, I'm going to sew an invisible zipper on the other side. I've only recently learned how to do this, so it's kind of hard to explain, and it's not as daunting as it seems, but I will link a helpful video down below. Once everything is sewn together, I ran a zigzag stitch along all of my raw edges to finish them. Here I have my waistband that is folded in half then ironed, and then on one side I ironed it ½ inch towards the middle. Place the folded ½ inch on the right side of the skirt and pin it down, leaving about an inch of excess fabric on the edge. Once it's pinned, sew a straight line just along the iron mark. After sewing on the waistband, fold it in half right sides together and stitch a little line up the edge. Clip off the excess, and when you turn it right side out, you'll have a perfectly finished waistband. Repeat this process on the other side as well. Lastly, you're going to top stitch all around the edge of the waistband and add a hook and eye or a closure of your choice. And that's it. I am in love with how this skirt turned out. Even though the construction is super straightforward and simple, the fabric's design and colors really elevated this skirt. A good rule of thumb is that pretty fabrics yield pretty results, and that was definitely the case with this skirt. For the second skirt, I'm using this pale yellow tweed-like fabric and cutting the pattern pieces out just like before. The only difference is that this time I'm going to leave a 1-inch seam allowance along the bottom of the skirt, as well as a ½ inch seam allowance along the sides and the top. Once everything is cut out, take the front piece of the skirt and make a line that's 4½ inches from the folded edge and cut it out. Then on the side pieces, you're going to mark a line that is 4½ inches from the bottom. Next, pin the two side pieces to either side of the middle piece and sew to the line that you marked. After sewing, you're going to top stitch the seam of the skirt to make the front lay nice and flat. Make sure to run the straight stitch all the way down to the bottom of the skirt and hem one side of the slit by folding the other one out of the way. Then you're going to go back and hem the other side of the slit. This is what the skirt looks like once everything is sewed down, and as you can see, the skirt is laying super flat and the slits look nice and clean. Lastly, you just have to sew the front to the back, hem the bottom, and repeat the same steps as before. Seeing as I have 3 other versions of this variation of the pattern, it is definitely one of my favorite ones to make. I love the look of the tweed-like fabric, and I really liked how this skirt turned out. It's a very welcomed addition to my slit skirts. Skirt, I'm using this lovely lavender satin fabric, and I'm going to repeat all the same steps as the first skirt. Once the skirt is constructed, you're going to measure the circumference of the bottom hem, and you're going to plug in the measurement into a circle skirt calculator. Here you can see that I am searching circle skirt calculator into Google and clicking on the first link. Choose the full circle skirt option and input the measurement that you took. The website will do all of the math for you, and the only measurement that you're going to need is the waist radius. I forgot to press the record button when I was drawing out the lines, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to fold your fabric in fourths, place a tape measure in the corner of the material, and mark the waist radius that you were given. I added 1/4 inch so that I would have a little bit of seam allowance. Then you're going to add 3 or more inches to your measurement depending on how long you want your ruffles to be, and do the same thing. Once you cut it out, you're going to take your middle piece and finish all of your edges with a zigzag stitch. Then hem the bottom by 1/4 inch. The last step is to pin and sew the ruffle to your skirt right sides together and sew the cut side of the ruffle closed. This skirt was for sure my favorite one of the whole entire video. Using the nicer satin fabric for this version was definitely a good idea because it really enhances the ruffles and gives it a fancier vibe. I love the color, and I'm super excited to style this skirt. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments which of the 3 skirts was your favorite, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Bye!